Welcome to Appetite for Production. I'm Tim Cam and I'm here with my buddy James Russell. We're back for another spot of music tech news. And of course, we'll be messing with some plugins. So what's on the agenda today, James?
Well, today we are discussing massive leaks.
Massive leaks, delicious and peppery.
Ohm Force are back and they have chickens with them.
Wow, about time.
Plugins on the interwebs.
No.
And Bruce Willis does some dawn raids at music distribution centers.
Oh, Die Hard.
Yeah.
Wicked. Oh, bring it on.
Let's get into it. As we said last time, there are times in music software where something that we never thought was going to happen has suddenly happened.
Oh God, what's this?
And I think we name checked it last time because we were talking about how FL had come to Mac. And what was the other thing that no one ever thought would happen that we said won't happen?
I can't remember.
Was it Massive 2?
Oh my God. Massive X.
Massive X.
Okay, right. Right. So before you say its name again, I want everyone to refer to this synth as Massive Kiss because it's much more exciting than just Massive X or Massive 10 or whatever.
Massive Kiss.
So I'm going to refer to it as Massive Kiss. Okay.
Massive Kiss or Massive X?
No, just Massive Kiss.
Okay, got it. It's Massive Kiss.
Yeah.
Basically, it's not just Massive Kiss. It's also Contact 6.
Yeah, like I was pretty surprised to see that.
So here's what has happened. NI have seemingly accidentally bundled an XML file with their latest update of Native Access, which is the program that you use to download and manage all your Native Instruments stuff.
Yeah.
Now, I've said many times to many people that I don't think leaks exist anymore. I think most of the music technology leaks or any leaks ever that you see are just bullshit.
They're intentional.
Yeah, but I think this one could have been a genuine accident. I mean,
it sounds like someone's been doing some data mining and they've struck data gold.
Yeah, they certainly have, because this XML list was basically a list of software ID numbers and the names of the software, seemingly the stuff that's going to come out in Complete 12, which we expect this autumn, I guess.
Okay.
So among the new things that hadn't yet been released or heard about, Massive Kiss and an item called Massive Kiss Library.
Oh.
So make of that what you will. You know, is it Massive 2? Is it another version of Massive? I assume so.
I've got a thing for librarians, James, so I am very excited about this.
Contact 6, which I've been talking about for ages.
So what, do we know anything about Contact 6?
No, that's the thing. This is all like 1000% speculation.
Well, what's great is that our imagination can run riot, and
Exactly.
we can be inevitably disappointed when reality hits in.
So let's speculate aplenty, because
Oh God, okay.
and I haven't said anything, and I think that gives us free reign to just come up with wacky things. What else? You have Flare, Faces, and...
I'm very aware of those, James. I made some videos for those that don't know if you know about it.
Well, in Complete 12 Ultimate, it seems like there will be 3 more called Freak, Bite, and Dirt.
Yes.
Now, are these modulation plugins? Not necessarily. Freak is spelt F-R-E-A-K.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say that Freak is probably some kind of little filter, because freak is in frequency, maybe.
What a very obvious thing to say, James. Carry on.
Maybe a filter with some nice drive built into it. Bite, I am not sure. I mean, I would say that's a distortion, but Dirt has got to be a distortion. Bite could be a bit crusher.
Yeah.
Because bitter,
Yeah.
Bite, bit. 3 little effects there. It seems they were listed right next to Faces and Flare and all that. So I assume they're sort of same philosophy. And the other thing is a plugin called Middle East.
Middle East?
I assume that's some kind of instrumenty rompler thing.
It sounds like it's going to be a rompler that is chock full of Eastern promise.
Yeah.
And he's going to transport you to an exotic world of, like, what happens in the Middle East.
Bodhrans.
What? Name another Middle Eastern instrument.
I don't know. You're putting me on the spot here.
Hang on, isn't Bodhran Irish?
Yes.
Okay. I think discussing this topic is showing our ignorance too much.
Those little wooden pipes that you use to charm snakes. I imagine it'll have.
Well, snake pipes.
Yeah. NI goes Prince of Persia.
Oh, do you know what? I was thinking about playing Prince of Persia the other day.
I play it a lot, actually. You can get it.
Which version do you play?
I don't know. There's a lot of DOS emulators online. I think it's like the classic PC version, but you can run it in your web browser.
PC version.
The old like non-Amiga version.
Yeah, but like MS DOS stuff though is a bit like there was slicker stuff around when that was happening than MS DOS. Do you know what I mean?
If you're looking to play Prince of Persia in an emulator, you're not looking for slick, are you?
Obviously, we should really be doing a retro video games podcast. But carry on.
I wanna speculate about Contact 6 because whenever I speak to any sort of Contact developer, I always ask them like, well, what do you want Contact to become? What do you want in the next iteration of Contact? And a lot of people say, well, Contact is so. It's not like it's a closed platform. In fact, it's very open. But if so many people make stuff for it and so many people use that stuff, that, they must be quite scared to change it. And also, there's license fees involved for NI, I assume. Like if you want to run it on Contact Player, I think you have to pay them.
Yep.
So messing with Contact is quite a tough thing to do. I wonder what.
Well, they can add stuff without it being a nightmare, presumably.
Yeah, and the whole interface needs to be sort of brought up to date because it's a bit horrible.
So, do you want to hear my theory just straight off the top of my dome for what might be included in Contact 6?
Go on.
Okay, what I would kind of like to see is, it's that Contact power that you know and love, but there's like a mode or something where it's more like designed for someone who's making music rather than making a sample library. So you've got a bit more of a sort of, more instrumenty interface rather than looking like freaking Excel.
A bit more abstract than technical. Well,
not more abstract, just more like, so it's like basically like a Moog that will play back samples. Do you know what I mean?
Look at what they did with Reactor 6, how they introduced
like blocks, yes.
So maybe you get a little block panel and you can put all your favorite blocks into Contact.
Oh God, what like semi-modular modular sampling? I guess
sort of. Yeah, but I mean, what is modular when it comes down to it?
Well, but well, I think a lot of people would like to see a more creative, perhaps, interface, if that's not a ridiculous way of putting it. Do you see what I'm getting at?
I 1,000% I see what you're getting at, and that would be great because I don't really delve that much into Contact, and whenever I try, like if there's a great patch which just has one thing I want to take away, I usually can't do it, to be honest. It's whoever's made it, depending on what it is, depending who's made it, it's so complex under the hood that it's hard to get any kind of purchase on it as an end user.
Why are you trying to fiddle around with their stuff so much?
Well, just if there's like, let's say it's a double layered sound and I want to take one of the layers out or separate them to use them on different channels or something. It's
oh God, that sounds like bad patch making. It sounds like you should be able to do that easily.
I think just the stuff that was made is often so complicated that it's beyond me personally.
Oh God, yeah, like when Contact 1 first came out, I got it and I immediately sold my hardware sampler because it was just like. It was like back in the day, it really wasn't like as full on as it is now and everything. And it was just like really, really powerful and cool and everything. Whereas now it's just like, it's something that you do, like, I feel like I don't want to look underneath the hood of anything. And if I'm going to do quote unquote creative sampling, I just wouldn't go to it because it's so long, as young people might say.
Another thing that they announced, this is what lends more credence to the fact that this leak or mistake is correct, was something called TRK-01, which they have now released.
Oh, yeah. So what's that? I saw some news about it. But...
is a pretty cool idea, actually. It is a kick and bass instrument designed to basically help you get kick and bass together, but it generates the sounds in the first place as well. It's got sequencing in it. It's got patch design in it. It's a really good idea. I wonder how samey things will get if everyone's using that.
Yeah, I mean the thing with kick and bass is because they're more kind of like the foundations of a track. So I mean, obviously there are exceptions to this rule, but like they're not really the sort of harmonics that are sort of cutting through the mix in the sort of high things. So maybe if everyone, I think it's people used like a 909 kick drum for years and years and years or whatever, and because it's like the foundation of the track rather than the ear candy, you probably don't get that hacked off with it. I mean, I've interviewed artists who are like, yeah, I use the same kick on every track, but I just put a different ride cymbal over the top of it.
If you use the example of a sub bass, then who can tell what synth your sub bass came from? Because it's basically, depending how you filter it, it can just be a sine wave,
Yeah.
So I know it's good to see, and I struggle to think of any other similar things like kick and bass at the same time instrument.
Well, it's innovation.
Yeah, and it's good to see. I don't know if it's got. I don't think I saw whether it's got actual sort of mixing capabilities built in. You'd expect like the kick would be sidechained to the bass by default, for example.
Well, this seems like part of a broader trend of people making plugins that are coming at it from an angle of being designed to make it easy for the user to mix the results of it, like a specific synth that we can't talk about. Do you see what I'm saying, bro?
Mix-ready instruments.
Great way of putting it. Yeah, totally.
And that's fair enough. Not everyone wants to or should need to do the technical stuff. If NI are selling this to someone who just wants to make a track and then is going to head it off to a mix engineer or not, then that's fair enough. I don't need everyone to be a mixing wizard.
Yeah, man. I mean, to be honest, I was always a bit sniffy about stuff that made things too easy, but I've tried some bits recently. I'm like, well, A, everyone else is going to be using this. B, if it sounds good, who cares? Like, obviously, you don't want to make music that sounds hugely... everything I make sounds hugely derivative. But I imagine some people might be trying to go for some kind of individuality or whatever.
Well, the flip
special
side,
snowflakes.
The flip side to making something that's very easy is that a lot of people will use it and you'll sound derivative. And maybe not. But if enough people make something that is easy, then there'll be enough options for people.
Yeah.
So NI, crazy.
Well, let's talk about Massive Kiss quickly.
Let's do that. Yeah, we
thoughts?
Glossed over it.
Lip glossed over it, mate.
Good Lord! What I said that I recently interviewed State of Mind. We mentioned briefly like how much of a responsibility it would be to whoever's making Massive 2.
Yeah.
Because, I said, you've got a hell of a lot of things you can mess up. And they said, it doesn't matter what you do, there'll be someone on a forum saying they don't sound as good.
Yeah, well, that's true of everything. No matter what you do, no matter what endeavor you undertake, someone will be like, nah, mate, you're an absolute... a mentalist.
That's one of the reasons though that you've got to respect native instruments is because they don't generally do many updates of their things. And was it 11 years old, Massive, by now?
Yeah.
Like if Massive was a human being, it would be off to high school.
Oh jeez! Oh god! Oh.
So I think enough time has passed for a sequel to bring it up to date.
With our lives, man?
And also, Massive was undeniably massive.
Oh god, yeah. It was like it near enough changed the game, I think it's fair to say.
Yeah, and it created whole genres on its own. But now, let's say theoretically that someone put together a roundup of the top 5 synths. Massive wouldn't necessarily be in it.
Yeah.
But Massive Kiss,
yeah.
I think that's what they're trying to do. I think they're trying to get Massive back into the top 5 with its competition such as Serum, Synthmaster, blah blah blah.
Let's talk about the elephant man in the room, James Russell. Only joking. Serum. Basically, they've got to get their top spot back from Serum because Serum has, taken over that very specific bit of the market, which is people making horrible, harmonically rich bass noises.
Yeah.
And Massive used to kind of be the only game in town. Really, it was kind of like in a league of its own for years.
Let's say let's say you are the product manager and they come into your office, your big swanky office, and they say, Timmy, we want you, and they point a big finger at you, and they say, we want you to make Massive Kiss.
Yeah.
What would you do to a classic to make it better? Bring it up to date.
I think the area where Massive Kiss can improve over Serum is, like, Serum has really great wavetable constructive features, but I don't know how user-friendly they are. Maybe if NI did something in Massive Kiss where you could make, like, these really rich wavetable things, and it made it kind of, like, a bit easier to make them, or just, like, a bit more straightforward or user-friendly or something like that.
Right.
Also, I mean, I think, bit like, I don't know how fair this is, but people used to, like, say of Massive and Serum, oh, they got really identifiable sound or whatever, blah, 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 sound like soft synths or whatever. I think maybe some, like, if they tried to give it a bit more of an analog tone somehow, or maybe some controls where you can kind of, like, make it feel a bit more analog. But
I think one thing anyone would do is stock it to the rafters with oscillators.
Yeah, but I think
wavetables.
Well, this is the thing where Serum really has the advantage over Massive is it's got bazillion wavetables, and you can make your own wavetables. So I think if they were to do something where you didn't have the same level of control as Serum, I think that would be courting disaster.
Make your own wavetables. Yeah, it's pretty much a must.
Yeah, and I think that's the area that they should improve. If I was a product manager, I'd say that's the area that they need to focus on. And why not introduce something new? I mean, it would be nice, like Serum has got FM in there. It's not hugely involved, whatever. I mean, you can do a load of stuff with it, but that's another area. Yeah, there's another area to maybe they could get, like, incorporate a little bit of their FM8 stuff in there, maybe. So, you know,
definitely, it's got to have a graphical update. I mean, it's 11 years old, so it's not, looking at it compared to today's soft synths is not fair, but they've got to bring it up to date. Maybe have some more wavetable visualization in there. Maybe that's what people are sort of expecting these days, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, I'd expect it to look completely different to the original.
And also, they've got to make sure that they don't piss off the third-party patch developers, because you still get a lot of people releasing sounds. Massive.
I can't imagine it's going to be backward compatible.
It's got to be backward compatible, though. You've got to be able to load up one of your many sounds that you've bought. I guess
you could almost certainly load FM7 patches into FM8. I guess
they've got to have the same oscillators that Massive had, right? You can't not the same wavetables. You've got to be able to load the exact same ones, surely.
That would make a lot of sense.
Another thing I hope is that it is not a reactor-based instrument.
Mate, that would be amazing!
Because that seems to be the way that NI are going. Like, this TRK1 is a reactor-based instrument, and I'm not a massive fan.
Oh my god. Mate.
That would take the wind out of its sails.
That would be so funny, man.
Like when they released Monarch after a load of hyping, and it turned out it was a reactor instrument.
The thing is, I think people are possibly unfairly prejudiced towards reactor instruments, but it is just annoying to have to load that stuff in reactor. Plus, mate, look at this. We probably discussed it last time, but look, I've got my favourites working in thing now or whatever. I want to be able to say, have Monarch in there, or have Form in there.
That's exactly the point I wanted to make. Like, you don't have to release Monarch or Form as a VST, but if you had a sort of a VST version of Reactor called Monarch or called Form.
That sounds like a nightmare.
Yeah, it would be a VST alias, but it's there in your plugins list, and when you load it, it loads up in Reactor, but it's one item for you to drag onto the track.
Yeah, man.
The other thing they definitely should not do is put blocks in it.
Oh, no, that sounds good.
You reckon?
Why not have blocks in it?
Bottom panel with blocks for effects.
Okay, here's what I want.
Go on.
I want the routing of blocks and all that sort of stuff. I want the tone generation of FM, and I want the wavetable construction of Serum all in one instrument. I think that would be an interesting proposition.
That would be, and they've got the name to trade off it, and hopefully they do a great job. And I think the world is holding its breath.
This is going to be a bad look for NI if it's not good. I would really love it if it was Reactor Instrument. I think that would really get on people's tits.
I don't think it could be a universal success because it's a sequel. Just by the very dint of it being a sequel, it can't be 1,000% successful. But I think it can be 95% successful, and that's great.
You are talking meaningless gibberish, James, but that's fine. I think we've done a robust discussion of this leak.
So, Ohm Force. You know Ohm Force.
I know Ohm Force, man.
Ohm Force are back. It's not that they really went away, but they haven't done that much. Ohm Boys Infinity is their new plugin.
Yay!
It is a delay with, quote, life-changing macros.
Oh my god, I really want my life to change. So this is exciting.
Check this out. Check out the video. Their promotional video is pretty unusual.
Oh, that's a nice cock.
Yeah. Chickens in a promotional video.
Oh my god, there's like a pug as well. They've really got my interest with all these various animals.
Shout out to Ohm Force.
Yeah, they're French, you know.
They are. And they seem to own chickens, which is great.
There's a lot of chickens in this video, mates.
I used to own chickens. I know much about chickens.
Did you own chickens?
Yeah, I love my chickens.
What, for the eggs?
Yeah. Not for the meat. That would just be barbaric. Fun fact about chickens, when they start laying young chickens, you often get double-yolked eggs.
Oh, gross, man. I don't want to have to think about where my meat and dairy products have come from.
Yeah. Speaking tangentially, what do you think of the delay?
It sounds like it could be cool. I would prefer a more traditional video. Oh, he's got some mints.
Some Murray mints of something.
Yeah.
The video descends into madness now when he starts chasing the chickens around the field in scenes resembling animal violence.
Oh god.
So it's a bit weird, but you know. Oh.
Yeah. Oh, this is doing my head in, to be honest.
These chickens are scared to death. Look at that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Is that a space hopper? I don't know, man. If I was making a product video, James, and as you know, I've made my fair share of product videos, I wouldn't have gone down this route. But I really like the original. Was it Ohm Boys plugin?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was sick. I hope they have got a similarly early access.
Well, that's the other thing we're going to talk about.
This. God.
So you may be familiar with the games market, and a lot of games now.
Okay, I've had enough of that.
You know,
yeah.
you have beta testing, but early access is sort of way before beta testing, where you can pay for the game in a sort of crowdfundy way and get, quote, early access to something that is basically still being developed, and you get to play with it, and you get to experience the pleasure of all the bugs that are in it, and knowing that you have no recourse to get any money back because it's your paid for early access. Basically, €99 if you buy it now and get early access. The price is going to go up as it gets developed. It should be finished this year, and the price will go up throughout the year.
Okay.
It's a very strange way to deal with a plugin, especially with a delay.
Well, I know. There have been some iOS games that have used this model where they start out cheap, and every time they do an update, the price goes up.
Yeah.
And those games seem to have done all right. So maybe it's not too crazy.
You can see the economic incentive for it.
Philip, man, making music is hard enough without having to worry about using beta plugins or whatever. I mean, I'm sure this will get some people's rocks off, but I am not one of them.
Yeah, I'm not one to reinstall a plugin several times over a year, you know?
No, mate, that just sounds like a nightmare, man.
I mean, obviously, if you don't want early access, don't pay for it early access.
yeah.
You know, we can't really complain. But yeah, the plugin itself, should you want to know, it's a cool looking delay plugin, and the focal point is that there are 4 macros on the left hand side that are sort of pre-assigned to a lot of things, and theoretically, if you're not much of a tweaker, that's all you need to tweak.
Okay.
Those 4. It sounds good, it's nice, but yeah, early access models for plugins.
I don't want it.
Promotional videos with chickens in them.
Maybe I could go either way at this point.
If done tastefully.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. I don't think that showed off the plugin to the best of its potential. I'm sure.
Well, it didn't even show the plugin at all.
Well, it didn't show the interface. I mean, we can see the interface here. It doesn't have like sort of 80s style comic book characters on it like the original one did, which is a bit of a shame. No, I would never use that mode because it was completely impractical anyway. So it looks like, well, they've done a sensible job with the plugin design. It looks to have a very sensible interface with a lot of visual feedback. So that's probably a good thing.
Nice.
Cool. Well, good luck, Ohm Force.
Yeah,
Godspeed.
Good to have you back. However deranged you are suddenly.
Yeah. Well, we need some craziness, I guess. So maybe I should be a bit less of a grump and just a bit more open-minded in my old age.
Quick question for you, baby.
Yeah. Hit me.
Conceptual question.
Oh.
Abstract. Thought experiment, if you will.
Okay. Wicked.
If FabFilter released a bit crusher, what would it be called? Because the obvious answer...
Pro B?
The obvious answer is Pro B, but it's short enough you could call it Pro Bit.
Pro Bit. Pro Bit.
Pro Bit. Or you could call it like Pro 8.
Well,
as
like
in
they've
Pro
got
8
like
bit.
they've got like Simplon as well.
Yeah, true.
So maybe you could have like some ridiculous sort of science fiction-y name. Bitbot.
Bitbot. Yeah.
Something like that. I think Pro B, I guess.
It would probably be Pro B, but I'd like to see Pro Bit or Pro 8.
Okay. Is this relevant to anything? Or
Nothing whatsoever.
Well, do you know what? What will FabFilter come out with next? Because they are covering a lot of bases.
And they're doing it slowly, which I appreciate, because they're doing it consideredly.
Yeah, I really want to check out Pro R, man. I can't believe I haven't even looked at it yet.
So you mentioned Simplon, that's fairly old. Volcano, Saturn. Saturn is massively highly regarded as a distortion, multiband
I
distortion.
don't play with it that much, you know.
Pro C now at version 2, Pro L now at version 2. Recently, what was it, last year that Pro R came out, the reverb?
Is this all coming off the top of your dome? Because it's very impressive.
Oh, I know my Fab Filts.
Oh, yeah, you really do. Pro MB.
Pro G. Oh, yeah, Pro MB is really underrated as well, because you could just theoretically use it as a compressor, even though it's a multiband compressor / expander, multiband dynamics of the highest caliber.
Yeah, it's really good. It's really good.
And I think there's Pro DS. I used that when I needed DS-er.
I use all of the FabFilter stuff is my go-to for all that bread and butter stuff.
If only they would fucking sponsor us.
They have got that shit sewn up, man. I think they've done a really, really good job. Because I remember when FabFilter first came out, so I reviewed their first ever product for computer music,
what was
which
that?
was
Do you know?
FabFilter 1, I think it was called.
Yeah.
So it was just like a one oscillator thing. And it did have a really lovely sound, but because it was just one oscillator, it felt like not very powerful compared to other stuff. So I think I gave it a quite mediocre review.
Right.
And I didn't think FabFilter would go on to become one, basically my most used plugin.
No, I think it does still stand, because 1 is a bit dodgy in terms of it's not the greatest plugin.
I wouldn't describe it as dodgy. It's very slick. No,
they were cutting their teeth, and it's it's decent, but it's not got. You wouldn't say it was a FabFilter plugin if you saw it for the first time ever today.
No. Well, they've gone slowly and steadily and just delivered really, really good products. So they're a company. I'm glad that they exist. They're really cool.
They don't just spuff them out. Also, Twin 2 was the follow-up to FabFilter 1.
Well, I think Twin was the follow-up to FabFilter 1, mate, if you want to get technical about it.
Yeah, shut up. It's currently Twin 2, but Twin 2 is really good. It's starting to feel a bit dated, but I still sometimes reach for it, and I know it pretty well. And I think, in answer to your original question, what should they do next? I think they should go for a 3-oscillator synth. Call it FabFilter Trio. Then you've got FabFilter 1, FabFilter Twin, FabFilter Trio.
Yeah.
And do another synth for today's producers.
Maybe they should have the Pokemon naming system where it's like FabFilter Uno, FabFilter DOS, FabFilter Trez. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I don't see any problem with that.
Yeah.
Not morally, nor marketing wise. It's what a brilliant idea.
Yeah, I'm full of them, mate.
We talk about reason sometimes.
Oh, yeah, we do.
The crazy business shenanigans of Propellerhead software.
Those wacky Swedes, aren't
they? Yeah, they are Swedes. Reason 10.
Reason X.
Reason 10.
Yeah.
When it was launched, last year, had a synth in it called Europa. And it was a, guess it, wavetable synth. It was pretty cool. It has a spectral filter and some solid features. But what they have done is
yes,
something that I guess, again, people thought they'd never do. They are releasing it as a VST AU plugin for anyone to buy.
And there's like a web version?
Yes, that is the other interesting thing. I think you should type it in and try and get the web version. The web version doesn't really work on my Chrome, but it should work on most people's. So yeah, Europa is now available as a plugin for anyone to buy. It's 150 US clams.
Clamaroos.
Although until before June the 30th, it's 100. But yeah, Tim has brought up the web version. See if you can get any sound out of it.
Why? Oh, I'm getting a bit of CPU dodginess, maybe it's because I'm recording in live.
It sounds better than it does on mine.
Oh, my keyboard's in a bit of an uncomfortable position, but I want to play some of these chords. Hang on.
Oh, yeah.
What I like is a minor 9, but I can't really play that very effectively on my QWERTY keyboard right now.
Fair
but
enough.
You get the idea.
Whip around with some patches and I'll... So yeah, you got 3 oscillators at the top into a spectral filter, which are all the rage these days. You've got unison quality filter amp envelope, obviously. One of the cool things I remember about this is you can use the envelope as an oscillator, should you wish.
Oh, what?
Yeah, you can use one of the envelopes as an oscillator. It's got 3 LFOs there, 4 envelopes, Thor-style mod matrix, and a bunch of effects.
I'm going to start making happy hardcore again, James. Etc.
So this also bleeds into something that we have talked about a few times.
Oh, don't bleed. Yeah.
We've talked about how music making is sort of building itself slightly into browsers and on the web.
Yeah.
And it seems like every time we record, something new has happened that involves doing something in your web browser.
Well, I'm sure we've talked about how in the future we're all just going to have dumb terminals and everything's going to happen in the hive mind or whatever.
Hell yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't know if I want the Zook looking at my synth patches, man, because he might copy that shit. So I'm not sure I'm down with that.
It's all a plot.
It is a plot. He wants my fucking tasty bass noises.
But yeah,
do you know what? For me, this synth has I'm going to sound incredibly pretentious now. This is combining the sort of plasticity that can be okay, like in Go 2, but with a more kind of like expensive, physical, solid sound. So it's all right, man. I could totally record this stuff and not pay for it.
That is exactly why they made a web version, because you can play with it before you get it. I mean,
I could record the output straight out of here into ScreenFlow or something.
The thing is, with almost any plugin, you can download a demo as well.
That's true.
And you can record the output of that. But people generally don't. But this really does let you try it before you buy it.
Oh, God, you can save patches. That's cool, because then if you were on your laptop, I guess, you could just make some noises if you got nothing else to do.
Yeah.
So I guess, what's the thing about Europa?
What's the thing?
It's got a spectral filter.
For Reason users, it was something that they couldn't necessarily have before because it was wavetably.
Oh, okay.
There wasn't anything built into Reason that really did that.
I'm going to get my Boards of Canada on next.
Nice.
I like that.
Yeah.
What's that patch? Canadian Broadcasting.
There you go. So it's cool synth, and it's not exactly new per se, but yeah, it's really good. That also the sort of Kremlinology behind why a propeller head now suddenly giving in and letting other people get their instruments, because they make good instruments,
Yeah, man.
and that would be an additional source of money for them. Plus, the other thing is a bit of an upsell because you could pay 150 clams for Europa,
Yeah.
or you can pay 400 clams for Reason, because obviously this was always possible to run inside another door because you could just rewire Reason if you had it.
Oh, rewiring though, mate.
It is an extra layer, which is really simple in reality, but it's just a psychological block.
That is a psychological block I will never get over.
Just
mate.
like having a reactor-based instrument.
Yeah.
It's a psychological block. But yeah, if they'd have made a sort of rewire client where you could choose any Reason instrument to be instantly rewired, that could be another thing.
I mean, give me the instruments of Reason in a VST plugin.
Oh, it looks like that's what they might be doing.
Yeah. Maybe all of them in the one plugin, even. And the effects. Why not do it like that?
Yeah, well, that's
I probably
called,
wouldn't use it, but
that's called Reason.
Oh, man, yeah. Okay. No, my psychological blocks have kept me alive thus far, so I'm not going to second guess them at this stage, I don't think.
I've got a story here. It's not going to be the most interesting thing you've ever heard.
Okay.
So basically, there have been allegations of price fixing potentially by 5 musical instrument companies. Now, according to the Telegraph, which is not a good paper, but according
to a right-wing paper, mate, and we're famously lefty on this podcast.
This
is a safe space, lefties.
According to that Telegraph,
Fender,
Yamaha, Roland, Korg, and Casio,
all the big names.
They are being investigated. Stick with me, kids, by the Competitions and Market Authority.
The CMA?
Yeah, for potentially maybe having done some price fixing or geographical fixing, which is where you sell.
Oh, what? Rip off Britain, mate.
Yeah, certain things in certain shops. Quote, suspected breaches of competition law by various parties. It is just an allegation at the moment, and they are investigating to see whether they should start an investigation. Now, this is such a boring story.
Well, no, mate, it's big.
To explain this, instead of referring to the Competitions and Markets Authority, I am going to say Bruce Willis.
Okay, wicked. Okay, so that makes it a lot more exciting.
Exactly. So Bruce Willis is investigating Yamaha, Roland, Korg, Casio, and Fender in potential price fixing allegations. Little side note: Casio. Is that why my scientific calculator cost £600?
Did it?
Nah.
Oh, okay. So, I'm gullible.
According to the Telegraph, it is not clear what triggered the investigations. One music industry insider said it may be linked to a complaint from Germany.
Oh, now who's in Germany?
Who's in Germany who stands to benefit from people not making high-cost music tech gear?
Are you thinking what I'm thinking?
I am thinking what you're thinking. So, yeah, Bruce Willis is investigating those 5 companies, and, it could come to nothing, and don't want to smear anyone when it's just a little quick. But, yeah, Bruce Willis did a dawn raid on several offices, and...
Can we... Sorry, can I just interrupt for a second?
Yeah.
Can we refer to the people who... we haven't named yet, the German complaint, as Alan Rickman?
Alan Rickman, let's do it.
Okay. I would have thought Alan Rickman would benefit from price fixing, because if Alan Rickman's making a load of knockoff music kit that he wants to sell on the cheap, surely it's his interest.
That is very true. Yeah, unless the German complaint is actually from a large music shop.
Oh,
online music shop, perhaps. But they would surely benefit from not being price fixers.
Hang on, is Alan Rickman actually from Germany?
Yeah.
He is.
Definitely.
Okay, wicked.
But yeah, I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see what happens in this, and see if we can fight the power on this, or if anything's happening, or if nothing's happening.
Yeah, man. They should definitely retcon the Die Hard series so that number 4 is him investigating musical instrument price fixing.
Yeah.
Because that would be a lot better than what actually happened.
So, it's not the first time that government has got involved in the music industry in terms of prices.
When you say the government, mate, are you talking about the global government?
Yeah, I'm talking about the one world government.
Okay, yeah, right, okay.
With the pyramids and everything.
Yeah, can you be more specific?
The UK government.
Oh, okay.
They used to do a load of investigations into price fixing of CDs. And
really?
Music in general, because every so often, like, there's a complaint they're saying, "Oh, why these things cost $9.99?" And
CDs were more expensive than that, man. They were like 16 quid, man. Sometimes it's insane to think now.
But and then they do a bit of an investigation and they find out, there's a lot of cost in making this stuff. But then the internet comes along and breaks distribution, and there's basically very little money spent on distribution, and music is still $9.99. So read into that what you will. It's also interesting to see how right-wing bigots, the Telegraph, talk about our industry. So here's a little quote. Yamaha, established in 1887, produces high-end electric guitars, pianos, synthesizers, drums, and string instruments. Roland makes keyboards used by top musicians, including Brockett Parsons, who performs with Lady Gaga.
What?
Yeah, that's what Roland do.
Well, yeah. Who was that? What was that guy's name?
Brockett Parsons.
Mate, it's like every time I'm going to spend money on music, I'm thinking, what's Brockett Parsons doing, man? It's like he's played for Lady Gaga. Does he use Roland? I don't even know.
And then it says, Korg is also a famous keyboard manufacturer with the likes of British pianist Rick Wakeman, who played with Yes.
I've heard of Rick Wakeman.
And Gary Barlow using their gear. It may not be Alan Rickman who's made these accusations, because like you say, follow the money. Who benefits from this?
Yeah, man.
I don't think Alan Rickman would benefit from tackling price fixing.
But okay, what can we call these other people? Let's say Thomas Dolby, for example, could make a lot more money if there wasn't this price fixing going on.
Yeah,
it's not really that surprising he'd shop them to the international feds.
Yeah, it's interesting. Or I mean, it could just be the shops themselves. If the manufacturers have agreed to only supply certain things to certain shops. This isn't necessarily price fixing, by the way. This
Isn't
could
that
be
just an exclusive? Is that a problem?
This
Do people
could
care about that?
This could be a geographical thing. Well, Bruce Willis cares about that, Tim.
Oh, okay.
His real name is the Competition and Markets Authority. It could be a geographical thing more than a pricing thing. So this district only gets this kind of shop which sells this kind of thing, and this district only gets this kind of shop which sells this kind of thing.
Oh, no, you're right. This is really boring.
So yeah, boring. Let's stop talking about it. But we did have our fun with the diehards.
Yeah, I liked it when you read about the different things about the different companies. What did it say about the other ones? So have we had Casio, Yamaha, and Roland?
I went through Yamaha, Roland, and Korg, but it didn't say anything about Casio, because Casio don't really do that much, do they?
Why don't Casio still make little cheapy keyboards and stuff or whatever, man? You'd think all the new indie people or whatever they're called now would be into that stuff.
They're too busy in the big calculator industry.
Mate, big buttons.
This week, Ableton announced a new sort of little quick bundle of devices. It is called Ableton Creative Extensions. Tim, tell us about who gets them.
Okay, if you own any version of Live already, that includes Light, Regular, and Suite, you get it free. If you and it'll come with Suite from now on, but if you were to go out and buy Live in a couple of months, you'd end up having to get this separately, I guess.
Okay.
I can't imagine they'll charge too much for it because it's not really crazy or anything.
It's a bunch of what look like basically Max for Live devices, but they're all pretty cool seeming. But we're going to test them out now. Yeah,
so I've got bass loaded up now. Now this sounds for all the world like a Moog, James.
A mana Moog?
Well, quite. It seems to have essentially one oscillator. I'm going to turn the cutoff all the way up. Got a bunch of different waveforms. A bit of a sine. Bit of a pulse. We've got the sub turned on, which is what you're hearing. Bit of a triangle there, and it's got some ring modulation. And it seems pretty cool.
Can you make it more analog?
You can make it more analog, mate. Yeah.
Oh.
So yeah, I like it, man.
Okay.
It's all right.
Okay, good, nice 70s monosynth sound, spacey.
And it's thick, which
Cool.
is good. So yeah, that's bass. Okay, now we've got a bit of poly, James. Can you imagine what poly is?
Show me poly. I couldn't possibly guess.
Well, it's a poly synth.
What?
I know. And it sounds nice. It sounds a little bit brassy with that saw. Bit of pulse. You got your pulse width modulation on there. It's got a sub, which is a saw. By default, you can change to a sine. I'll bring the saw back in. Oh, there's some ring modulation here as well. Ooh! Yeah, if you want to make some sci-fi effects,
This is your one.
it's tasty. So yeah, and there's a freaking modulation matrix. The chorus is quite nice.
That is a lovely chorus.
It's lush, is what it is.
Oh.
The sound I've made is really horrible, but the chorus is nice. That's probably not showing off the chorus to the best of its ability. Hang on, let me. Yeah, you get the idea, basically.
So we got effects in here as well, haven't we?
Yeah, let's look at some effects. Okay, I'm just going to play poly through them, so it's probably not going to show them all off to the best of their ability, but whatever. Okay, so we've got pitch hack here.
Pitch hack. Oh.
Not doing anything. Oh, I need to turn the wet level up. Oh,
Duh.
I don't. It's just making loads of really weird noises. Oh. Oh. It's glitching out. Oh. Oh, mate. Yeah. I'm going to be making some computer noises with this. Yeah, that's pretty cool, actually. Oh, I like that. Pitch hack. Craziness. Okay, gated delay. So it's like a trance gate, basically, I guess, and a delay as well. It's like kind of weird ducking delay. I'm not too bothered with that, but I'm sure it's amazing if you're into it. Color limiter. It's not particularly useful to look at that with this this instrument, I think. So we'll gloss over color limiter. Re-enveloper. Oh! Oh, that's cool. So this is like a little... Have you seen enveloper in Logic? I'm sure you must have.
Yep.
It's basically that sort of thing.
Okay, so what's happening is that three bands.
Three bands. You've got attack and release for them and stuff.
Uh-huh.
It's not very useful with this thing because it doesn't have an envelope on it. So yeah. Okay, and then finally we've got spectral blur, which unlike any built-in live thing or Max for Live thing or VST even, for some reason doesn't want to go in a group and won't let me move it round. So that's weird, right, James? Oh.
I've never seen anything that doesn't want to go in a group before. Except me.
Oh, yeah, you're a famous lone wolf. Okay, so this is a weird kind of like, grainy, spectral FFT
That's
nonsense.
pretty good.
I mean, it sounds cool.
It's nice to see something different, you know?
Yeah. So I had a few not very interesting things that I wanted to talk about, James.
Lay 'em on me.
I wanted to tell you that I've been using some hardware in my music making recently.
Oh yeah, is it this thing that's behind me?
Yes, it is actually. That is the Roland Alpha Juno. So I was making a bit more of the techie tune. Normally I just use 808 subs for everything, but I was making a bit more of a techie tune. And I couldn't get the results I wanted in soft synth. And I tried using Trueno, right?
Right.
And Trueno, though a bit flaky, seems fine in what's essentially an empty project. I loaded it into this project that was causing my computer some stress, and it was just all over the shop, and it was basically unusable.
Okay.
So yeah, I just ended up using external instrument in live, and yeah, spending ages using the frickin' jog dial on the Roland Alpha Juno to make like a sort of analogy bass sound. But it sounded frickin' wicked, man. And I'm starting to think, well, maybe everyone's not so crazy for, being in synths loads.
Did it solve the problem that you're having where you couldn't get things to sound right?
It did. It absolutely solved it. So now I'm thinking, I've been having a slight bit of a creative log jam recently,
Maybe it's time to replace your Oxygen 61 on that stand with the Alpha Juno.
Well, no, because the Alpha Juno doesn't export velocity sensitivity, unfortunately. So it's a bit crap as a MIDI controller. Also, can you see this other the Oxygen 8, like 20, what was it, 26?
Yeah, you got the whole family.
That, I can't use that because the pitch mod, for some reason, sits very slightly below the midpoint. So, I mean, I could open it or something, but I ain't got time for that.
It's like old Nintendo controllers where if you switch on the console with the knob pushing a certain way, that's your default.
Oh, really? Oh, I see what you're saying. What? With with an analog stick or something? So I'm now I had such good results from the Roland Alpha Juno. I can't even speak anymore,
what did you
man.
say?
Rolford. Oh my god.
The Rolford Alfalfa.
Honestly, my life is hanging by a thread right now, man. Like the House of Cards is very, very close to being knocked over.
You had good results.
Playing with the Roland Alpha Juno gave me good results, and it's made me think I want a boog.
Oh man.
I know, mate. Now here's the other thing. Because my computer was spannering up so much, because like I'm using a lot more like newer plugins and everything. I've got all my Roland Cloud stuff on the go and everything. I use loads of Wave stuff, Soundtoy stuff, and everything, and some other bits and bobs. And my computer's starting to suffer, which has never really happened before since I've had it for like 5 years now.
Yeah.
And I was looking on the Apple website to see what I could get that would be a suitable step up in terms of CPU power, because that's really what it's all about for me. And like, it seemed like the optimum thing to go for was like the freaking top of the range iMac, which is like $2,500.
They do that on purpose. That's why it's positioned so that you think, oh, that's the only one I could possibly get. I mean, I would recommend you going to an iMac, but the top of the range X pounds, too many clams.
It's too many clams and spondoolies, man. And what I was thinking about then was getting a Hackintosh.
Oh.
But I looked up, so I'm a savvy consumer, James. I've been around the block a few times, as you know. So what I did was I looked up like issues with Hackintoshes and stuff and everything, and it just looks like a massive thing. Like the thing is, I know whatever OS you use, there's going to be people who are having problems. But man, I just like, I mean, if I had the money, I'd just drop it on the computer and just enjoy being in Mac OS and everything working nicely, which it generally does. But like 2.5 freaking
I tell you what I am waiting
coins.
I am waiting for the Mac Mini to be updated, because
I was looking at the Mac Mini, mate. I was like, this is what I should be buying, but they haven't updated it since like 2014.
No, and I don't know if they will, but I'd really... In fact, wasn't WWDC...
It's not in their interest to because everyone would buy one.
Didn't they just have a WWDC yesterday?
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Oh, give me some info.
Let me just
on this,
make
mate.
sure that they didn't
Has an
accidentally...
amazing new MacBook Pro come out for like $1,000, and it's got an incredibly powerful processor and a massive SSD.
Let me look for you real time.
Tell me that news. So while you're looking that up, so my dilemma now is, well, I don't have the money for either of them. My dilemma is to not buy a Boog or not buy a new iMac.
Long story short, no Macs, no iPads. So it's just software updates and Siri shit.
You're joking, mates.
No, it wasn't like, it's not the biggest WWDC. I think they're usually in September.
I thought they're going to be giving, like, there's going to be a new model of MacBook Pro soon.
Wait till the autumn, they might announce that.
Oh, God damn it. Well, I don't have any money anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
A Boog, which, by the way, of course, doesn't come with any kind of keyboard, so you'll have to solve that in another way.
I'm using my the Oxygen.
$299. It's not amazing, but I mean, considering how you could pay $3,000 for the Moog reissue,
Well, I
It's
couldn't, but someone with more money than sense probably can. Actually, no, I'm sure it's well worth it.
Maybe what you should do is go to PMT with me, and we'll just play a few synths and see what takes your fancy.
Well, Well, the thing is, the last thing, like the problem is, I want to buy stuff I can't afford. I think playing with more synths is probably a really bad idea.
Yeah, especially if there's been price fixing and geographical fixing going on.
Oh, do you know what? If they had a Boog though, I'd probably just buy it, man. I've been having a bit of a difficult time with my life recently. I need some retail therapy. I actually think it's been going quite well, James, but I still want to buy a Boog.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Maybe going into an actual shop and playing with a few synths is just the ticket.
Well,
and
that's a good idea.
you might even get to meet Bruce Willis.
Do you reckon they'd have a Boog at Elevator Sound?
Dunno.
We could go and have a look, couldn't we?
Yeah.
I need to get out of the house a bit more, so yeah, let's do that.
All right, Timmy, do you know what it's time for?
It's time to initialize something.
Yep, it is.
What are we going to initialize?
Well, this is a synth that you have never seen before. This is Sugar Bytes Apparillo.
Are you going to show me the way to Apparillo?
So, you have it on the default patch, I believe.
Yeah, which sounds like this. Can you hear that all right?
Yeah, I can.
So it's a cinematic soundscape, James, isn't it? Very nice.
Cool. Okay, so what have we got?
So lots of delay. I don't know, mate. We've got 4 tabs. Synth, which has got a load of animated stuff. Don't know what's going on there. Effects. I can hear a lot of delay on there.
Looks comprehensive. Oh, put the delay back.
No, well, this is the thing. So when you get to one of these weird synths, you got to turn all the effects off, and then you can hear what's really going on.
I think what's really going on is a bit of FM action on the left there.
Yeah, so let's see what's happening since we've got a ratio. Okay, it's an FM ratio. Oh, with these. Okay, so we've got 2 operators. We've got an FM amount and a ratio. Presumably there'll be envelopes for those somewhere. Yes, there are. What is going on, mate?
Yeah, that's I guess that's why I had the delay on it. We'll get it.
That's the thing.
There is a lot to explore in this synth.
Well, I think it is the delay and reverb. Oh, now, what is that, dude?
This, my friend, is the Orbit.
What the hell is this?
So,
this looks like an iPhone game.
You have a little puck in the middle there.
Yeah, I do.
And,
what?
Oh, yep. And all those icons represent something that is happening within the synth. You may have seen them on other pages. And
God.
As you play notes, puck moves around and affects the things that the icons represent. And see at the top there's a little red thing. That means you can record the puck's movement whenever you press a key.
I'm not sure I want to because at the moment I've just got horrendous noise. Shall I try looking through a few presets and say what
I'd
what
reset
they
the
do?
patch.
Okay.
Well, not reset, but just choose a...
Gonna take that away and replace it with that.
Oh, yeah.
See, I don't know what I'm doing. Maybe if I did, I could make it do something. Go on, you go away. Okay, whatever. Ooh.
That's nice. That's not even moving at all.
Are you ready to enter the water level, James?
Yeah, let's do it. So there's sort of reverse raindrop arpeggiator sort of thing going on there.
Flipping heck. What can we do? Oh, look at this! We're in the Matrix,
Whoa.
son! Oh, mate. Do you know what? Normally, I don't go on a bundle on this sort of thing. But I got a feeling these atmospheric sounds are going to make their way in some of my tunes.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Which
They're
I'm
very-
quite surprised about.
See, the complexity leads to a lot of crazy things, doesn't it?
Yeah. Just abstract. Abstract Biz, mate. Oh, look, this one's decided he wants to go on that screen. Just like a...
So,
Oh,
just above the keyboard, between the main display and the keyboard, you've got a bunch of little LFOs and tools and stuff. Those are the icons that are represented in the orbit thing.
oh.
So as the puck passes one of those icons, it sort of modulates it.
Yeah. I getcha. Flipping out. I don't want to have to learn like a load of weather symbols. Just use my freaking soundscapes in.
There is a cold front of synthesis coming in.
There is. What does Arnie say in Batman and Robin? There's going to be a freeze on Gotham. Oh, his lines were so terrible in that film. Great film, though. I love it. Oh, yeah. You see, you know me, James. I'm not afraid of getting my hands dirty with a little bit of a synth now and again.
Uh-huh.
But this one, I feel like I'm just going to be rinsing the presets.
Yeah.
Because they sound wicked, but I ain't got time to learn about orbs, mate.
It's very complex, and yeah, they must be paying their sound designers a pretty penny to come up with sounds for it.
Unless they've got a Hans Zimmer style sweatshop.
Maybe.
Are you feeling atmosphericalized by this?
I'd just like to lie down on the grass and listen to some patches.
I just want futuristic noises. And this looks like it's going to fit the bill. Look at that, mate.
That ratio is, oof, that was just creeping up and up.
Stop it, mate. I'm going to totally... Later tonight, I'm going to rinse this thing, mate.
Inspiring, right?
It is. I just like how it's so easy. I don't have to think too much, man. Oh. Yeah, this is perfect.
Lovely visual feedback.
I'm so glad you chose this. Yeah, lovely visual feedback. I mean, without the effects, it doesn't sound like much. You know, still pretty interesting.
Well, I mean, you know, it's an FM synth. You can't exactly rinse too much. You need the effects to do anything, don't you?
No, that's absolutely not bloody true, James, but yeah.
So yeah, it's nice. This is 99 euros. And it's a lovely, inspirational little synth.
Yes, cool, man. Bit different. I'm down with that.
Also, as you can probably tell from the design, it is very iPad friendly if you're into your iOS stuff.
Oh, is it on iOS?
Yeah.
Oh, man. You could just imagine. You could just take loads and loads of drugs and just, like, make a load of sinister soundscapes and send yourself into a K-hole.
Yeah. Let's recommend that.
I don't recommend doing that, by the way. Cling clang.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
that's nice.
Yeah, if I was doing some soundtrack stuff, mate, I'd be calling on this. I reckon
all over it
for sure.
Amazing.
So, James, that's the end of another Appetite for Production. What are you going to do right now?
I'm thinking Cocodamol and chill.
Oh, nice. Well, as long as you enjoy being constipated.
I always do.
Sounds like a lot of fun. Delayed gratification is what it's all about.
See you next time, Mr. Tim.
See you later, guys.
Bye.
Bye.